Hello, this is Dr. Larson. I'm going to go ahead and teach you how to make a poster, a scientific poster for abstract or for communication or dissemination of scientific work. And we're going to recreate parts of this poster here that was presented last year at the American Society of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene. Um, as you can see, this poster is pretty heavy on the graphics, which is my personal favorite for posters because I don't like to read as much as I like to look at pictures. And so we have a lot of graphics and we have a lot of maps, and you have the logos and whatnot. So this is what we're going to try to recreate a little bit, and let's get to it. So first, I'm going to open up in PowerPoint. I'm going to use Microsoft PowerPoint to make the poster. Um, there's other software that you can use, but PowerPoint is pretty standard. Most people have access to PowerPoint, and so that's an easy one to make it. Some people will. There are some nuances in PowerPoint that make it uh, challenging sometimes, but that's okay. It's still available, and it's you don't have to learn necessarily a new skill. So I'm going to go to PowerPoint and then open up a new presentation. All right. I'm going to clear out. I just want the blank template. I'm going to clear out all the supplementary stuff or the things, and I'm going to go to the file and page setup. And this allows me to change the size, the width and the height of the poster that I'd like. And so I'm going to change it to custom. And the previous poster was 36 by 36 inches. Now the printer at Syracuse University Library will print 36 inches wide. So you could have 36 by 48. Um, some posters are larger. This previous poster is 36 by 36, so we're going to keep it at that. And then push OK. And then you get a warning that's saying it's okay, or that the size exceeds the paper of the printer. That's fine. You're not going to print it on. You're going to go print it at the library on a plotter that they have, and it costs about $15, I believe, for a plotter to print here. So I'm going to push OK. All right, so now I'm going to have a nice little square, and it will be useful to add some guidelines. So I'm going to go to Insert. Uh, let's see, Format, Range. I don't know where the guide is. I'm going to go to the Help. So I'm going to go to View, and then Guides, and a ruler. I want my ruler in there. Okay, so I go from our baseline at 0 out to 18 inches wide, and our 0 in the mid down to 18 inches tall. So we have 36 by 36. And these guidelines are just going to help me. So I'm going to introduce some static guides. And what I'd like to do is take these guides and make this into thirds. So we're going to try to obey the rule of thirds here. And if you divide 36 by 3, you get 12. And so the first one I want is 12 inches, so that's 18, so that would be 6 inches here. All right, right at 6. And then this one, I'm going to put this up at 6. So there's the first one. And then how do I get another guide in there? Oops. Let's see. Yeah. If I can just click on one. Huh. Sorry, don't make posters all that often. Make them about once a year actually. And so sometimes I lose track of what I'm doing. I have to relearn it. So trying to get another guide in. Yeah, I don't know. So we'll just leave the 2 in for now. guess. All right, and I like to have columns, right? So I have my columns here. I'm more concerned, less concerned about the guide, the horizontal guide as the um, what's it called? I'm less concerned about the horizontal guide as much as I am about the vertical guide. But what I do in the top third is I'm going to divide the top third in half, and I'm going to put my identifying information in this in the top sixth, I suppose. And so we'll just start out, and we'll insert a text box here, and we'll say our poster. Let's see, what's the name of our poster we're using? Who can afford GPS points? Okay. All right. So I come back. In the top six, who can afford GPS points? And I can adjust this. Now remember, the poster we're going to print out is size 36, but also we want to have a very visible, easily read. We don't want folks to have to come up close to the poster to see what the poster is. And so we're going to make this a bit bigger. In the previous one, I had size 104. You can just round that off to 100. And then I think it was bolded. So who can afford GPS points? That's kind of our title. And then we have a subtitle as well. I'm going to type in scaling of village level water access information system in Zambia. And I don't want all caps on this. And I believe this was size 50. Well, that's very small. 50 is small. It was size 66. Okay, so we'll change it to 70. Alright, so I'm going to bring that up here. Notice I leave a little bit of white space around the trim. You don't want to be flush up against that. And then I'm going to bring in the author list. And this one is I'm going to make even smaller. I'm going to change this to 40 perhaps. I'm going to bring the authors up here. Okay. Oh, not the guide. I want the guide to stick there. All right. And so remember the rule that we're doing with our identifying information with our title and our authors is that it should be in the top sixth, the top half of the top third. And so you have your author list, and then you have your affiliations directly underneath that. Let's see if I can do affiliation 1, affiliation 2, affiliation 3, and so on. And sometimes it bleeds out into the next 30, or else you can move this up and move everything else up. And you can add in some logos there. Sometimes people put logos down in the bottom. And that is the first bit. Next we have the content of the poster itself. So I'm going to bring my guide down here back down to, well, I'll leave it up here at 12. All right, and we have this third, here's a third, and here's a third. What I like to think of is dividing our research. We have our background, our methods, our results, and our discussion. And so what I like to do is a background and methods in the first column, the first third of the paper, or the poster. The results in at least the second third, and maybe coming out over into the third third, and then our discussion in the third third. And the reasons we emphasize the results perhaps is because of the figures and the nature. So going back to what we're trying to recreate here is you can see this background is very small. Here's our background. We have a few pictures, a table of picture that shows the current water access estimates in Zambia. And then we have our methods is right here. The description of the surveillance system. This is a descriptive paper. It's a little bit more of a case study than anything else. And so we have our surveillance system, and then we examine the results. And you look at the results in April 2016. Here's where there's the results, and then this, even though it says results, is actually the discussion, the next steps. And how things are going. All right. So, gonna start out with let's see how I did this. Yeah. So I'm just gonna start out here. I'm gonna put in background, and I like to underline my background. Take a note. This is a 74. You want to make it look proportional, maybe about the same size as your subtitle, which is 70. So we'll change it to 70, and we're just gonna underline it. All right. And then underneath that, we're gonna start another text box, and this is going to be background point 1, background point 2, background point 3, right? And then maybe we want to make these bulleted, so we'll switch this over so they're bulleted, easier to read, bring it out this way, whatnot. Then the size we want, this one in this poster was a 28, and 28, that's pretty good. You can read 28 from a few feet away. It's not so large that it still allows for a lot of text to get on the screen. And it's not so small that you can still read it from a distance. Alright, so I'm going to change all this to 28. You will notice there's a lot of white space in between those bullet points. And so if you're finding that you have issues, so say for example this background point 1, water is the essence of life and is important for cooking, washing, and drinking, right? This is a ton of space that's being used. Alternatively, we can get rid of that pre-manufactured bullet point and just add something like that. If you break up the white, add a little white space so it's easier to read and whatnot. And then you have your background. Okay, and we can probably drop this from 70, maybe down to like a 50. Yeah, that looks good. So background here, and we have our background. Now we want to insert a figure, and you typically don't want to make figures in PowerPoint. Definitely not maps. It's really hard to make maps. These maps are all made in Quantum GIS, which is an open source geographic information system, and then these tables, they were made in Word, I believe, Microsoft Word, and then brought in. And so you just simply insert a picture that you saved, picture from file. I'm going to go to, let's see, navigate to all this stuff here. Alright, and then let's see where the picture is. Take a look. Okay, that looks good. That's the picture I want. Now I'm going to insert the picture, move it over to where it needs to go. I'm going to format the picture so it has a nice border. I'll make the border blue since it's blue. Then I can insert a caption below. So I can say figure 1, household level access to improved water source in 2013. I'm going to align this up here and change this to our 28, I believe was what we had. And then we have our figure 1. Alright. Now I'm going to go through and add other pictures, the rest of the methods here. So when I do that, I'm just going to copy and paste our background, line it up, and so we have our methods, and then we copy and paste our background here under our methods, and we adjust that to method point 1. Right. And we create the methods, and we can add more figures down here. One of the things we do at conferences is promote the institutions that are paying us, and so you have here the different institutions that were involved in the research. with Syracuse University right there. This one has not included references. You can include references, definitely. Um, this one does not, obviously. And the tables. So these tables, they were made, perhaps these were actually made in PowerPoint itself. PowerPoint makes an okay table. Um, you just create a new table, the number of cells you want. Say you want a 6 by 1, or 6 is a lot. Maybe just the 3 by 1. I always do by 1, and then you just can hit tab at the end. So you come line up your table with your picture, with your figure there, and then with your guide, right? And you could say, I don't know, what is this, water access, and then percent, and say this is province. Then you probably want to change your table font to match your text font. Well, that didn't turn out good. What's going on? Alright, I'm just going to delete that. Just try it again. So, tables, a new table, 3 and 1. Let's change the font to 28. And then you want to line it up. So province, water. Can I change the whole thing? So you can see some of the challenges in PowerPoint. I have colleagues that use Adobe, and I think it's a bit more elegant. But I don't have Adobe on my machine, so I don't use it. And so the PowerPoint I do have on my machine, so I use PowerPoint. So the province, I have Eastern, and say the water source is wells, and they have like 50% of those, right? And that makes the table. You can change the theme of the table. This one was blue, kind of goes with the water theme, but I could change it to orange, go with the SU theme, purple if you want, or teal, turquoise, your preference, right? And that creates a table. Then you can go through, once you get your background and methods in this first third, second third, more of your results discussion. There you have it. Now, when you try to go print it, what you want to do is you want to save as a PDF. Okay, so you just click File, Save As, change the format to a PDF, and then we'll change it as a presentation example. And that does something with the configuration of the figures. PowerPoint is, again, it's not the ideal for pictures. So let's go open this up. Presentation example. And you can see it's nice and big. In fact, it'd be 36 by 36. So there you have it. It's very simple to make a poster. You can use PowerPoint, save it as PDF. You take your PDF over to the library, and the library folks on the main floor there's a plotter that can print 36 inches wide. So you could make you can make 36 by 24, 36 by 48, 36 by 36, or whatever. One dimension just has to be 36 or smaller. And then you can print it, and they will charge you about $15. So if you have any more questions about making a poster, you can reach out to me or to anybody associated with the Student Research Days, and we can help you troubleshoot things. And so wish you the best of luck with your poster making, and hope you enjoy your research. Thank you.